Hey guys, I am probably going to spill this tea everywhere because it's just sitting on the couch, but anyway, I'm going to talk to you about marketing. So marketing is something that I'm extremely passionate about. Marketing is something that is extremely important in every single business. Whether you're good at it or bad at it, or new to it, or you've been doing it for a long time, you're going to need to do it if you run a business. So I have spent a really long time growing my business from scratch. So about 8 years ago, I started my salon, a really tiny little salon in like an upstairs bedroom that I did up into a shop, very small shop, in Albany Creek, which is in Brisbane. And then 2.5 years after that, I moved to another location, which was slightly larger. And I did that up as a salon with just still 2 stations. And then slowly over the 6 years that we were there, I grew that business into eventually knocking the walls down, building it larger, getting staff and whatnot. But nothing was ever rushed and everything sort of came naturally. So I never really did any studying into business or marketing. I never intended to have staff. I never intended to have a company, which I think worked really well for me because there was never a pressure on me to do anything in a time frame or do anything really quickly. And I guess from that, I've learned that it's really important not to try to do things overnight. I don't think that anything that lasts a very long time can happen overnight. That's just me personally. Obviously, there are definitely stories where it does happen. However, I find if you slowly grow and you slowly teach yourself and you slowly build your business and whatnot, it just won't become overwhelming. You will grow with it, and it won't get to a point where everything's just happened so quickly that it's all too much and it comes crashing down. So that's what I've learned from my business growing so slowly over the last 8.5 years now, and I've loved the process. So in that time, I've read lots of different books. I've you know, back when I first had the business, I don't even think that you could do Facebook ads, to be honest. So that wasn't a thing. I know we had Facebook, but at that time, everything that you posted, everyone saw on Facebook. So the algorithm's different. It wasn't just ads and ads and ads. As you guys would know today, Facebook is just full of ads. And Instagram wasn't really a thing. I had Instagram, but I was like, oh, Instagram's not for business, and I didn't use it. So things have just changed so much since I started my business, and I have definitely had to change with it, or I would get left behind. And sometimes I do find that overwhelming. Sometimes I find I'm constantly like, oh, there's a new thing, TikTok, got to do this, got to do that. But instead of trying to do everything at once, I just try to focus on 1 or 2 things. Otherwise, what happens is you end up putting 10% of yourself into 100 different things or 10 different things, rather than putting 100% of yourself into one thing. So that's kind of where I'm going to go with what I'm talking today. I'm just going to cover basically my personal experience, and I hope that you can take something out of it. So first things first, seeing as I just mentioned it, it would be not to put too many eggs in your basket. So if you love doing you know, videos or whatever it is for your business, focus on that. Don't try to do 10 different platforms, 10 different things at once, because it just is going to become too much. Start with one thing, get that 100%, get that down packed, and then you can start incorporating other things. When it comes to what works for you in your business. So focus on something that you're really good at, focus on something that you're passionate about and that works for you, get that down packed, and then you can look at incorporating other things. Definitely don't, if you're new to marketing, definitely don't all of a sudden try to figure out all at once Google ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, TikTok, all these things at once. It's too much, and you're only going to put 10% of yourself into all of them rather than 100% of yourself into one thing, which is going to give you a lot more results. So let's start. I wanted to talk to you guys about a book that I recently read called Sell Like Crazy. This is not at all a sponsored ad for them. However, I freaking love this book. I learned so much from this book. It's more about funnels. If you know anything about funnels, this book's kind of all about funnels. But what I did take from it was a lot of different marketing tactics and things that made a lot of sense and that I found are working since I've implemented them. And then are just no-brainers. Like when I read it, I was like, duh, of course. Like, why didn't I think of that before? So I have a lot of people that do hair extensions especially contact me, and the first thing that they ask when they're asking us about our hair extensions is about the price. The first thing I get is, how much are your hair extensions? And it's funny because you can't sell a product off just a price. That's what you really need to remember and take out of a lot of this, is that you cannot grow your business or market your business or build your business based on your price structure. So obviously you can do specials and you'll get more people in the door. You can have lower price in the salon next door and you might be busy with that, but you're never going to substantially grow, and you're always going to be stuck with that business mindset and with that layout for your business, which is being cheap and having clients. So what I want to do is teach you how to sell your worth, how to do it, and not have to discount your prices or use cheap hair extensions because your clients aren't willing to pay, $800-900 for hair extensions, which they are actually worth if you're doing it correctly, if you're using the right products. You've got your education that you've paid lots of money for and you've spent years growing and learning. So that's really what you're selling. And it's not about having the lowest price. So when you are thinking about marketing and when you are thinking about your target market, first of all, you need to figure out who you are focused on. So what I would do right now is grab pen and paper, because I do have a little bit to go through and I am doing this all off the top of my head. So if you have a pen and paper, it's going to make it a lot easier to take notes. So first of all, thinking of, what do you want your business to look like? Do you want to be having 15 haircuts come through your door in a day, which gives you $800? Or do you want to have 1 or 2 clients that you can relax with, you can enjoy their company, they're going to be a lifelong client, a loyal client that comes back to you every 6 weeks, that you don't have to rush around the salon like crazy, doing haircut, and still make $800? So first of all, do you want to work smarter rather than harder, or are you quite happy running off your feet and having to continuously charge really cheap prices to stay busy? First of all, jot that down. What do you want and where do you want to go with your business? Now, secondly, you're going to have to figure out how to get there. How do you find clients that are willing to pay higher prices for your services? Obviously, the first thing that comes to my mind is trust. So if a client, let's just say you had a friend who wanted to borrow $800 off you. Are you going to lend $800 to a friend of yours who you've known your whole life, you trust, they're going to pay it back? Or are you going to be more willing to lend $800 to someone randomly on Instagram asking to borrow $800 or something? Obviously, you're not going to lend $800 to the person on Instagram that you don't know from a bar of soap. You're going to lend the money to your friend who you know, who you have a rapport with, who you trust, who you know what they're spending their money on. That makes sense, right? So the same sort of thing applies to your business. So people aren't just going to walk through the door and give you $800 for your service if they don't know anything about you, they don't know anything about your product, they don't know what your work is like, where your product's from, and you've just popped up on Facebook or Instagram. What you can't do is have an ad running on Instagram or Facebook that just has what you do, your price, special discounted price, and expect people to walk through the door. It just doesn't happen, especially when there are so many ads on the internet at the moment, and it's impossible to break through the crowd that's going on online at the moment. There is a few ways that you can do it, however, and it's some things that I learned from this book. I put them into practice and they do work. They've also really worked the entire time I've had my career, and when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, of course, that makes sense, because all of the clients that I do have continuously loyal over the last 8 years that are quite happy to pay my prices all run through this method. So we're going to talk about the method and how you can gain clients that are going to pay you the money that you're worth, be loyal, and trust you. So obviously we've come to the conclusion that just putting an ad and a pretty photo up and saying this is on special isn't going to work. And you're probably thinking, but the photo's beautiful, the photo looks great, like all these other salons do it with these photos. But the reality is we don't actually know what those salons are getting back in return for those promoted posts on Instagram and Facebook. And the funny thing is there actually is some statistics on it. So I'm gonna have to go slow now because it's numbers and we're hairdressers. So only 3% of people watching ads or promotions on the internet. So this is like when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram and you see an ad for special $5.99 hair extensions, Brisbane's best hair extensions. Book in now. And that's it. It's got a pretty photo of a girl. Only 3% of people that see that are on the internet at that given time are going to actually be interested in getting hair extensions. So that means that you're paying for an ad that 97% of people are scrolling past that have absolutely no interest whatsoever in hair extensions. So yeah, you might get 1 or 2 bites from that ad of the 3% that are looking for hair extensions. But the other 97% of people are just scrolling along, fluffing about on Facebook, and they don't really have any interest in your ad whatsoever. So you're spending whatever your budget is, which might be like $20 or $30 a day, on people seeing your ad that are just scrolling past and not interested at all. They might stop and see the pretty picture and then keep scrolling because they see it's an ad. So how can you get that 97% of people scrolling through Instagram or Facebook to stop and read your content, stop and read your ads and pick up the phone and call you? There are ways to do it. So the way that you can do this is by attracting, educating, and nurturing, and then getting an action from your clients. What this means is that the information that you provide on your content, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, your own page, or an ad, needs to be educational, insightful, powerful, and not just simply a promotional piece about your company. This is going to change the concept of you chasing clients into clients chasing you, and it does work. You'll get better at it. It's hard at first. And you need to get that confidence in what you're doing and what you're posting on the internet. I know this was hard for me. I wasn't even going to post this video because I was like, is it actually good enough and that? And I'm like, you know what, it is, because I've got 8 years experience in this. So you need to tell yourself you're good enough, and you need to tell yourself that you can do this. So first of all, how are you going to do this? You're going to educate the customers so they know more about the process of solving their problem. You can do this by using free high-value content for them. So this would mean giving away free education. So educating them on your product, educating them on what you're doing in the salon, educating them on why you're the best, your hair extensions are the best, for free. So not charging them to do this, but doing it for free and doing it in a way that as they're scrolling, they're not going to have a choice but to stop and read your content. So an example of how to do this. Now this is why it's really important when you're using your Instagram to not just post pretty photos and put a caption like, oh my God, cleanest blonde ever. It's great, people are gonna love the photo, but it's not really stopping me in my tracks. And it's not really stopping me and going, shit, I need to know more about that. Which is what marketing's about. I mean, look at all the top marketers in the world. They use tactics, you know, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. They use tactics that are so strange in their marketing, or that are so different that you're like, let me see that again. What was that? So you need to think outside the box. The best thing that I found from this book and what I really loved was how they gave examples of how to do this marketing. And one of them was thinking about when you're scrolling through Facebook, and we all do it. We lay there at 6 a.m. in the morning and get on our phones and scroll through Facebook. What are some things that make you stop in your tracks and read? For me, it's generally news articles, and they always start with something like, wow, or hot news, or just landed, or, you know, you won't believe what Johnny Depp said to Amber, whatever her name is. Well, yeah, I want to know, what did he say? You want to know, it's made you curious. You need to make people curious about your product and about your service. So think of it as a news article or something that makes you stop in your tracks. So I started doing this with our hair extensions on our Facebook marketing platform a little while ago, and the difference it made is amazing. So, you know, I used to post an ad and just put a special, we'd have maybe a quiet week, and I was like, oh, do a special. And it would work that week, but then, it's not forever. You can't do a special forever. So you need to think about things that are long term, and that to me is educating, and getting people interested and excited about your product so that they're like, I want to come to her. I want to come to you. She knows what she's talking about. You need that knowledge. So, instead of putting in a caption that's just something about the pretty girl and the picture and, him sponsoring it and paying $5 a day, do something that really stops people in their tracks. The best thing to do with your captions is stuff that I found like, want to know why our hair extensions are not ripping people's hair out, or want to, what's another one? Want to know the #1 difference between machine weft and silk weft, and put a photo up there that's intriguing and interesting. Top 5 reasons that machine wefts are going to save your hair over tape wefts. Well, most people that aren't even interested in hair extensions still want to know stuff. So they're going to click on your ad, or they're going to click on your caption, and they're going to want to read, just because we're curious creatures. And, the more they read, the more they want to know more about you, and the more that they're going to go and read more of what you've written in your Instagram posts and your photos and everything like that. And they're going to get to the point where you will find that someone that never even wanted hair extensions before in their life, all of a sudden is so obsessed with hair extensions because you've given them so much information, and they're like, shit, this is cool. Like, you can sew this into your hair, and it comes from one single person overseas, and it's made like this, and it's colored like this, and whatever else. I'm going to go to her because this is just so cool. And you'll find that you'll have clients chasing you, and it works. So you need to have knowledge. You need to have knowledge to be able to do this marketing strategy. And the best way to gain knowledge is to research your products and know what you're doing back to front. It's no use not knowing what you're using and having a client, putting a special up and having a client come in and ask you, what hair extensions are you using? And you just say, I don't know, top of my head, Zala, or whatever it is. Oh, okay, so where do they come from? Oh, I'm not too sure. Okay, do they get donated, or is it from a dead person, or, oh, I'm not too sure. You've got to know your stuff. Knowledge is power, and power is confidence. Like, knowledge is confidence. And if you have that confidence and you know your product back to front, you'll be able to implement these different marketing strategies into your business, and you will find it just works so well. So educate, so attract them first, attract your audience by shocking them, making your headline something that they want to click open and keep reading. It's so interesting. There's more to learn. Educate them, then give them lots of information. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? When are you doing it? How is it going to help them? Who is it going to help? And then nurture them. Nurture them by slowly taking them through the process. Don't just book them in straight away. Would you like to come in and we can chat to you? We'll sit down, have a coffee together. We'll chat about your hair and see what we can do. So don't put the pressure on. Nurture that client. And then you'll find that you get action from that. So this is a huge marketing strategy that's changed my life. I think it's going to change yours as well. Now there's a few little tips and tricks I'm going to give you as well for this, because it can be really hard to write, and what it's called is it's writing copy. So copy is writing your ads. It can be really difficult to start writing copy, especially if you're new to it. I'm still learning, but I love learning about it, and I'm learning more every day. There's definitely a few different tools on the internet that you can use to get some ideas from. So one thing I want you guys to write down now on your notebook, this is a little secret I'm going to give you. It's called answerthepublic.com. If you go to answerthepublic.com, it comes up with the #1 most relevant and asked for questions on the internet, on Google. So you can head to answerthepublic.com, and you can write in there hair extensions. And you will get thousands of different questions that people have asked on the internet about hair extensions. And then you know what they want to know. You know what they don't know, so you know what information to give them. You can do it with balayage, you can do it with blonde, type balayage in. Find out what people want to know, what people don't know. People aren't hairdressers, they don't know what we know, and they want to know more. We're like sponges, we just want to know. So jot that down, that's an amazing tool. The other thing that you can do is figure out your audience and what sort of audience that you're wanting. The way that you can do this is a little bit probably more in depth, but it's called the halo strategy. And it's where you find out characteristics of your top 4% of clients so that you actually know where to find your clients. So also I want you to get a piece of paper and jot down your top 4% clients. So these are people that are 100% loyal to you. They spend the most money with you. They're happy to pay the money. They're your top earning clients. That's what you make your money from. That's what you grow your business from. I know mine. Write them down and then write down their characteristics. Who are they? What do they do for work? Do they have children? What do they love? What do they hate? What do they do in their spare time? And you'll find they'll probably have a lot of similarities. And it just totally blew my mind when I did this, how similar my top 4% were. And then I was like, obviously, I need to market towards people like them. So you need to market towards people that are most likely to also use your service and come to you and whatnot. And that doesn't include the people that maybe don't work, don't have any money and whatnot, and they can't afford the hair extension high value service that you're offering. Yes, they still need their hair done. These people still need their hair done, that's fine. But I'm talking about if you're looking for high value clients willing to spend $800, $900 on hair extensions because they're getting the best and they want the best. Find them by finding out your top 4% of your clientele at the moment and find out their characteristics, write them down, and then you know how to incorporate those characteristics into your marketing. So, example, if one of your top 4%, if all of your top 4% tend to be mothers that are working part to full time and are striving for success within their businesses, or they're wanting whatever it is, whatever their characteristic is, when you're doing your ad, you can actually aim your ads at people like this with that demographic. And you can also incorporate this into your content as well. You could be like, you know, one of the most important things, let's just think, one of the most important things for a working mother that is business savvy, has money, wants their hair looking amazing, also might not have a lot of time. So you could incorporate into your marketing why your strategy to put hair extensions in is saving. Sorry to cut you off there, guys. My camera died and it's about to die again. But that's basically everything that I wanted to go over with you anyway. Was just about how to change your marketing strategy instead of you chasing clients to have them chasing you, and build up that reputation, build up that trust and that rapport with your clients before you can expect them to just come ahead and spend $800 or $900 with them. So you first have to build your foundations, and then you can nurture those clients, and then eventually they are going to become long-term and very loyal clients to you. So Rome wasn't built in a day. This all takes practice and studying, and it all takes long-term commitment to building up trust with your clients. But the first step is to start. So sit down with a notepad and pen and start working on those things that we spoke about, and let me know, give me back some feedback on this video, and also I'd love to hear from you in a month or so and hear how the changes you've made have been going in your business. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching.